While I was pregnant with my first child, everybody I knew, every aunt, uncle, cousin, people I didn't know in the airports when I was traveling, everywhere I went, people would come up to me and say, let me just touch your tummy. You're having a boy. Oh, you're definitely having a boy. So I had only a list of boys' names, and I'll never forget, at the moment I gave birth and the doctor said, it's a girl, I was shocked. And I actually said to the doctor, are you sure? That was the first thing that came out of my mouth. Check again. I'm sure it's a boy. And so I sort of scrambled and tried to come up with a list of names and make a short list. I only ultimately came up with 2 possible female names and then chose one. But I had a long list of boys' names, and I kept them in the baby book. And so later, when this happened, I said, well, lo and behold, I told him the story about how everyone thought I was going to give birth to a boy and how he's been so masculine and boyish his whole childhood. So we went right to the baby book, opened it up, and he chose the second name on the list. The first name on the list had gone to my second child. I had not heard of the category of transgender then, so I just wasn't really familiar with what it meant, and I thought maybe I had kind of a gay female child.
I think the first time I heard about it and the first time I actually understood it were 2 very different points in time. So the first time I kind of heard about it, I might have been 5, and the first time I realized that I felt like a boy was when I was 3 or 4, and I think that's when most kids kind of start identifying with the gender. At the beginning of 7th grade, I think I thought I was gay, and so I was watching a lot of coming out videos on YouTube. I found one that I thought was just another gay person, and it was actually a transgender guy, so then I just started watching loads of videos like that for about 2 days straight, and that was kind of, I think, when I knew that I was transgender too. I actually remember one of the videos a person was talking about like wearing binders, which makes your chest look flat, and then I scrounged around my room and found a bunch of stuff to make my own one, and that was very relieving because my chest actually looked flat, and that was always something that I'd really hated, but I didn't really understand that I hated it, and so that was really nice, but it was also kind of worrisome because I thought I wouldn't be able to tell anyone.
He actually told me over the phone from his dad's house. He called to say, I want to have a very important conversation with you and tell you some things, and I want to come to your house to do it because I'm actually kind of afraid that my dad's not going to accept it. And I said, it's okay if you're gay. We have so many gay friends. And he said, no, it's not that. I am like... And he named a person we knew, a family friend who had a transgender child.
When I first told my mom, she was totally fine with it, and I knew she'd be fine with it. It took her a little while to get used to it, but not long, just a couple weeks maybe.
I felt ready to help him become his authentic self. I think that's the best thing you can do as a parent. It didn't cross my mind even once to talk him out of this identity. At the beginning, in the first week or so, we had thought, I wonder if the right thing to do is just, I'll know, and I'll support him in my house, but maybe at school he'll still, for one more year to finish 8th grade, he'll still just be a female at school. But that thought only lasted about a week. We actually went together to a great youth counseling center that works with kids in the trans community, and then the counselor who runs the youth group said, once you have this realization and you know who you are and you've told someone you love who you are, it's really hard to go backwards. It took me about 2 weeks to really be consistent with male pronouns, maybe even almost a month to be consistent using male pronouns and using the new name. I'd slip back to the old name. It's been 4 or 5 months now, and now I'm pretty solid. I have not slipped back. But once in a while, I'll look at something like a baby book I made with the old name on it, and it brings some tears to my eyes, not because I wish I had a daughter, but sometimes I look at that and I think the tears come for a set of complex reasons. For example, I remember calling my child another name, and I won't use that name, and it's okay. Or I feel badly about misunderstanding. I wish I had been educated. I wish someone had said to me, there's this category called transgender. Hey, your child always wears boys' clothes. I wish the preschool teacher or someone had said something to me, because I would have had the opportunity to give my child hormone blockers to prevent my child from going through puberty and developing those characteristics, those physical characteristics of a female body. Now the only way to undo some of those characteristics will be, for example, surgery, top surgery. Had I known, I could have prevented some of these things and just started this process sooner. But that's why I'm hopeful that educational forums like this will educate other parents so they could just know about the category of transgender.
In society, people think there are only two genders, male and female, and that what makes you female and what makes you male is like your biological differences, but gender's in your mind and not between your legs, and that's what a lot of people don't understand.
He's got a kind of side to him that encompasses both ways of thinking. And as he goes through the world, he'll always carry with him those first 13 years of his life, and that will bring a different perspective. So he's kind of a unique individual. I think all trans people are unique in that they have experience. We have such gendered societies, and they've experienced walking along very gendered paths, and so they know maybe what it feels like to be on both sides. That's unique. I feel like if I really look at it, I feel like I'm actually been blessed to be a parent who was allowed to travel this journey in life, and I wouldn't ask for any other child.